Danny Diaz Delgado met someone online who would sell him a PlayStation for his little brother. Well, what was left of him was soon found near a creek bed. Let's just say the seller never had that PlayStation. You're watching Darkness Prevails, the best channel to share your creepy stories with the world, because this world is a strange one. I love online games. Sometimes I'm playing PlanetSide 2, confused as to why my squad keeps ramming the plane into the mountains, while other times you can find me playing Overwatch, working in the salt mines. Well, when you can interact with other people online, sometimes you come into contact with people who are quite evil. Enjoy these allegedly true online gaming scary stories. If you want to be in a future video, I'm looking for scary stories from Russia. If you've got one, send it to me at darknessprevails.org/submit, or download my app at darknessprevails.org/app and send it to me there. Now, are you ready to log in? Number 1. Fortnite Battle Royale Horror Story. Submitted by Cold One. I'd been playing Fortnite Battle Royale for the past month. I never play solo. I play in squads and always try to be the support for the team, picking up and handing out bandages and giving people equipment when they need it. It's a fun playstyle, and I actually feel like I'm helping. But sometimes people look into your help a little too much. It all started when I met a guy who demanded I call him Gary over voice chat. He was one of the only people on there who had voice chat on. I was in his squad, and he took a big liking to me after I gave him an epic drop that I didn't need. Next thing I knew, he wanted to know my email. I figured he wanted to make a sort of gaming group, so I gave him mine. That night, after logging off, the email started. "That was really kind of you," the first one said. Another came in after that with, "I feel like I can trust you." Keep in mind, I hadn't replied to his emails at this point. I started typing and said, "It was nothing, dude. I just wanted to win, same as you." "Man, you're good people," he replied. I smiled. He seemed so genuine and kind. "I feel like I can show you this. I've got to show someone. It's tearing me up inside," he wrote. "Okay, show me. I can help you with it," I responded. I figured he was just someone who needed to unload some sort of emotional distress from a traumatic moment in his life recently. So, though I didn't know him very well, I decided to help out. But that wasn't what I got at all. Instead, it was a .jpg attachment. I opened the image and my screen filled with something that made the bile in my stomach come up in my throat. It was a little girl, maybe 8 years old. No clothes, skin white like Elmer's glue, eyes rolled back in her head and bruises around her neck. "My sister," the body of the email said. "Is she still my sister if her heart doesn't beat? I had to do that. She was getting to me." That was when I did something stupid. Horrified, embarrassed, and feeling like I was the one that was guilty or could get into loads of trouble, I deleted the email with the attachment, then blocked his email from sending further emails to my address, and I emptied the trash folder. I regretted that so much later. If he had really hurt someone, I should have called the police. But I got scared, and now someone out there who possibly ended another person's life is walking around freely. People can be monsters, too. Number 2. Gaming with Stalkers. Submitted by Contagious Live. When I was 9 years old, I admit that I was stupid and immature. I got a PS3 for my 9th birthday, and I got a game that had online capabilities. I didn't really care about it at the time. I put in a username and started to play, enjoying the first few weeks of my new game until things got, well, interesting. Someone started playing with me, and we became great friends. But then, one day, the person I was playing with said out loud, "Nice one, Bella." But the thing was, we had never exchanged real names. "Oh wait, how did you know my name?" was the first thing I had to ask. My online friend just stayed silent for the rest of the game. I thought that I wouldn't look into it much, until things got so bad that I had to block him, because after that incident, he somehow got more and more information from me, without me ever saying anything. And the worst part was when he asked me, "Hey Bella, how old are you?" I wanted to sound older than I was, so I said, "I'm 13. But they replied, "Well, you look about 10 to me." I could almost hear him smiling through my headphones, and this freaked me out. "How in the world do you know what I look like?" is all I was able to stutter out. He started listing my facial features, eye color, freckles, things like that, until I was so scared and horrified that I had to just block him. I never spoke to the person again, but to this day I wonder how he was able to get my information, and why he had that information. Number 3. Online Stalker Enters the Real World. Submitted by Ashley D. I want to share about an ongoing incident that happened last year when I was 15. I often played a well-known online game called Roblox on weekends and after school. One day I was sent a random friend request in-game by a player going by the name Ben. We ended up playing in-game together for a few days, and we ended up telling each other our first names and city and states that we lived in. I didn't think that with that small amount of information, there would be any concern for safety involved. Well, unfortunately, I would end up discovering that I was very wrong in that judgment, and take my word for it, do not give out any personal information online. The next couple of days, I attended school as usual and walked home afterwards, which was only 4 short blocks from the school. About 3 days after sharing my limited information online to the player, the consequences of my actions began affecting my real life as well. The stalking all began when I was walking home from school as usual with a friend who lives 2 blocks away from me. We both noticed an old dark gray van driving slowly about 30 feet behind us. We both just assumed that they were looking for a certain house address and didn't really give it too much thought. A few minutes later, before my friend walked into her house, we noticed the strange van drove away. So again, nothing strange, we thought. I continued on the remainder of the route to my home, when I noticed the van had reappeared when I was only a few houses away from mine. Once again, the van was only a few feet behind me and moving at about a walking pace. I looked behind me multiple times, trying to see inside the van, but the windows were tinted, so much so that I couldn't make out a single person's silhouette. I couldn't even tell if a person was behind the wheel. I began to feel panicky at this point, and decided to run past the last 2 houses to mine. Unfortunately, at the time, both my parents worked full-time, so they weren't home, and I had to use my house key to get inside. I realized at that point that my key was inside my backpack. Frantically, I began to dig in it for the key, when I looked behind me to see the van pulling into my driveway. I could see the door opening slowly behind me when I felt my key. I grabbed it, yanked it out of my backpack, and bolted into the house, quickly locking the door behind me. I went to grab a cell phone to dial my mom at work when I heard harsh banging at the door. Not like knocking, but like they were trying to tear it down. I shouted, "Who is it? What do you want?" while trying to focus on dialing my mom at the same time. I then heard the sounds of a grown man shouting, and he sounded like he was trying to sound younger than he actually was. He said, "Hey Ashley, it's just Ben, from Roblox. You wanna play?" I could feel my heart sinking by the second. I glanced quickly out of our peephole on the front door, hoping that it really was just Ben, the kid I thought I knew. Maybe the van was his parents coming to drop him off for a surprise play date or something. But when I looked outside, there on the porch, I saw a middle-aged man with a stocky build, grinning broadly at the door, trying to peer inside whatever hole or crevice he could find, while intermittently banging on the door. At that point, I was horrified. I shouted at him to leave and that I was calling the police. By then, my mom had been dialed and her office phone was ringing. After what seemed like forever, I realized that she wasn't answering my call. I glanced out of a small side window from another room to see if the strange man had left yet. To my relief, he seemed to have driven away. He was no longer by the door, and the van was gone. But my pulse didn't slow down for a while. I was just trying to calm myself, regain composure, but I couldn't stop wondering in my mind that this really just happened. I knew that in about an hour my dad would be home from work, then everything should be back to normal. I decided that I won't tell my parents about the incident, because I was afraid that they would end up just taking away my online computer privileges. So after I stopped shaking, I finished up some homework, did my evening chores, and had some dinner, as I normally did. I was exhausted by then, and I hopped on my computer and saw the Roblox shortcut. I looked at it for a moment. That's where it all started. If that man was who Ben really was, then should I even be playing this? I ended up logging in for a while, ignoring anyone and everything else and just trying to get my mind off of these terrible emotions. But within 10 minutes of logging in, Ben had sent me a message. It said, "Hey, sweetie, you must not have heard me knocking. I'm just outside your house. Come outside so we can hang out for a while and get to know each other. You want to go for some ice cream?" I instantly panicked and looked outside my window, but I could not see anything unusual in my backyard. I no longer felt alone. Despite the false sense of security, I was still in the midst of danger. I ran downstairs and pulled back a small portion of our living room shades. Right there, on the side of the road in front of our house, was the same dark gray van, just sitting there. I decided that I had no choice but to let my parents know what was going on, or this crazed man, who seemed to actually believe he was a little boy, would not stop harassing me. Immediately, my dad runs outside with his bat to approach the van, while my mom was calling 911. They had arrived home while I was doing homework. I'm bawling at this point. The van sped away before my dad even got halfway to it, but the police ended up coming out and taking a report of the entire situation. The police even looked at my computer. They went through all my messages the man had been sending me. The creepiest part about the incident was the last message he left after speeding away from my dad. All it said was, "Winky face, next time we can hang out when Daddy's not home." Like I said, that was a year ago, and to this day I still constantly look behind me when walking home. I keep all the doors and windows locked, and I rarely play games online anymore. Number 4. PlayStation Creep, submitted by Jade M. It was almost a year ago. I had just turned 18 and my boyfriend had moved in a few months prior. We got in constant arguments over who got the PlayStation and what games to play, because we both used it a decent amount. When I wasn't playing, I would get annoyed since he couldn't control his volume when getting on the mic. But this didn't stop him. He constantly talked to this group of people on Destiny. They were okay at first until I realized some of the guys were a little off. I would often jokingly take the mic and say some funny, stupid things into it, hoping to get a laugh or two. Of course, some of them were irritated by it, but this one guy just kept playing along. His name was Adam. Adam was 22 and lived in the UK. I found this intriguing because I loved hearing about other places and other cultures. So Adam began telling me more about himself, and we soon friended each other on Facebook. We started talking constantly about our areas, families, likes, and dislikes. The topic of what we looked like came up in conversation a few days later. I sent him a silly little selfie of me sticking out my tongue. He complimented me and then sent a picture of himself. He wasn't the most attractive guy. His teeth hung out of his mouth, he was extremely scrawny, and his hair was uncombed. He didn't look anything like I imagined, but I didn't let it bother me and we continued our friendship. A few weeks later, my boyfriend and I started to get into an argument about cleaning while he was on the mic. At this point, it was unplugged from the controller so everyone couldn't hear. But I could hear Adam making fun of me and calling me horrible names. I was angry. I picked up my phone and messaged him asking who the heck he thought he was. He spits out, "Well, I'm only going off of what your boyfriend tells me." Then he eventually said, "I'm sorry, it won't happen again." This started to become a pattern of him turning me and my boyfriend against each other, claiming to one that the other said something that they never did, and we would believe him for a while. The more my boyfriend and I drifted apart, I used Adam as a friend to confide in. He began to tell me his secrets. He was a furry and he drew pictures for sites. He sent me a few without warning, and they all had different watermarks in the corners. I'd asked him about this, and he said he wrote his friends' names on them before he sent them. He actually plagiarized furry art. I don't care for furries or the art, so I didn't really care, but it did seem kind of scummy. I began answering his texts less and less, because he was beginning to creep me out. Then he began to flirt with me. He sent me constant inappropriate pictures, and I would go straight to my boyfriend. And then Adam found out that I ratted him out. He was extremely angry. He began to threaten me, saying he was going to do awful things to me and my body. Said that he knew where I lived, and he had plenty in savings for a round trip by plane. When my boyfriend confronted him, he claimed he had sent the pictures by accident, and the threats were for someone else. He was such a liar. I was getting fed up with this guy. As soon as our conversation started getting more and more seldom, he began telling me depressing things. How he was almost 23, had never had a girlfriend, how he lived with his parents in their basement, and how his sister was the only person who would go out with him to pubs. This went on for another week. One morning, he called me on the Facebook app, crying about how he couldn't do it anymore. Whether or not I really liked the guy at that point, I still didn't want him to take his own life. He said his goodbyes though and just hung up. I tried messaging him, but no answer. I tried calling, but got the same outcome. I was overcome with guilt. No matter how irrational or creepy he was acting, a life was still alive. A day or so later, I asked my boyfriend if Adam still played with him. He was confused as to why I was asking, because I knew they played daily, but he replied with a simple yes. I was at my boiling point. I texted Adam and sent him a long message stating that I would like it if he never contacted me again. He called me one last time, saying the most horrible things you could imagine, threatening my life, saying that I'd be buried in a shallow grave, saying that I deserved to have my body desecrated, and just before hanging up, he said one last thing, that he had the flight booked, and that he would be seeing me very, very soon. I haven't heard from him since, but Adam, you're psychotic, and I hope we never actually meet. Number 5. My Scary Gaming Story. Submitted by Fear the World 4. This happened a while back. I had a new Xbox 360, and I decided to get an Xbox Gold account. I set it up for Xbox Live, and I got GTA 5. At the time, it was a new game. I played online in a lobby, and I found a guy, someone to play with. I played with him and he sent me a friend request. I accepted it, thinking I couldn't believe I made a friend so quickly. Then one day on Call of Duty, he sent me a voice message. I listened, and what it said kind of scared me. It said, "I know what you did." I didn't know what to do, so I ignored it. The next thing you know, I was on my laptop on Amazon looking at a game. Then a new tab automatically popped up. I clicked over to it to see what it was before closing it, but I froze. The page was black and blank until someone began to type on it, repeatedly typing, "I know where you live, I know what you did, I know where you live, I know what you did." Just as I was about to close my computer down, I saw my address and full name pop up on the screen. I literally pulled the battery from my laptop. Then I called my friend, who came over to spend the night, because I was too freaked out to be alone at the moment. I never knew who this was, or what I did to them. I don't know what they were talking about, saying, "I know what you did." All I do know is that he knew where I lived and he seemed psychotic, and that combination of things was not something I wanted to live with. Nothing has come of it since, and I hope it stays that way. Number 6. I think my Minecraft game is possessed. Submitted by Michael P. This may be long, but this is a true story, believe it or not, and it goes back a long way. First things first, though, I don't have an Xbox Live account, nor did I have the game online. Furthermore, this game was not modded in any way, shape, or form. Some of these events occurred when I was playing Minecraft with my friend Dante. Dante and I were playing Minecraft on creative mode when I was trying to find the stronghold. Noobish, I know. And he was building a house at the side of the cliff. I went into the stronghold, and all of a sudden the music stopped right in the middle of the song, and I would hear strange noises that my friend called Herobrine noises. I didn't believe it at first. When I left the stronghold, the music began. Now keep in mind, we did know that the music delays on console editions. But not at all did I believe in this Herobrine nonsense. I told my friend to go into the stronghold and he did. The music played normally, and there were a few mobs. Everything seemed normal, but we blocked the area with bedrock and exited the game. The next day I had him come over, not touching the game at all. We had a 2DS, which is not the best quality, but it would work. We waited until the unusual sounds came in, then we recorded. We had a rule, as one person had to be in the nerve center of it, which was the house we had built, and it was a pretty good distance from the stronghold. After our 5th recording, we captured a black figure too short to be an Enderman. It then vanished, but it didn't leave the usual remnants or residue that the Endermen leave. By then, I figured somehow someone online had hacked my game. I had internet access, I just didn't have Xbox Live. Anyway, we went into the inn to try to build houses there. The noises continued, and we later just fooled around in the new world. Then we went back to our home in the old world. The music went straight quiet a lot longer than normal. Suddenly in the distance, we saw something fall from our home in the game. Whatever it was, it didn't drop anything like the usual mobs do, nor did it make any sounds. Again, we left and got out of the game. Later on, I went into the game and used a wither to destroy everything, and after that, my friends started listening to the original sounds of Herobrine, Null and Entity 303 on YouTube, as well as the soundtrack to Minecraft. I then left the game for a few months until just a few days ago, when an update came in. Nothing was the same. At first, I heard this unusual snarl or growl, but it wasn't like the zombie growls or any mob I could think of. I quickly exited the game and changed my mind about playing it. When my friend came over the next day and wanted to play some Minecraft, we hopped on and created a new world. Again, it was on creative and not online. We renovated the randomly spawned mansions, but we noticed something strange. Unusual noises more and more frequently, and the weather kept changing to thunder, despite me changing it back to clear. One area that hadn't been touched and was just grass before we renovated the mansions was now a cave. It was weird. The game now had parrots, which we used, and they were reacting to something that wasn't even there. Then at the back of the house was a deep water pool that we didn't make, and at the side of the house was a small pool of water. They were never placed there before. Noises were still heard, and what really scared us off was the small pond on the other side, doubled in width. We didn't know how this was possible, because neither of us could terraform that well and precisely. Even the music was different, more eerie, and no longer Minecraft-style music. We heard laughter in the game, a sound effect we had never heard in there before. It didn't sound like the witch mob. It was more sinister and realistic, like the sinister laugh of a conniving little girl. My friend downloaded the PC version and went through every music and sound effect file he could find. The songs and sound effects we had heard did not exist in the program files. We placed a map of what the area around it looked like in the house, then quit the game. I really don't know what to do. Nobody will believe this. Is my Minecraft game possessed? Or do I happen to have the glitchiest version of Minecraft available? Either way, it's enough to creep me out. Maybe someone online had hacked into it, and maybe they were playing with us, and instead of playing like a normal person, they spent hours upon weeks terrifying 2 kids. I don't know. I just hope it stops. Number 7. Psychopath on Minecraft. Submitted by Anastasia S. This happened last May. I'm female and consider myself attractive, but I like reading comics, writing stories and dark poetry, and gaming. I'm not your mainstream girl. Most of my friends are boys, and the friends I have that are girls are emo and boyish. One of my favorite games to play was Minecraft. I started playing 2 years ago, and I'm pretty good at it. It wasn't until a year ago I began joining servers and playing with friends online. Last summer, I even met a guy. His username was Novastar66, and we became friends. We started playing together, until I noticed that there was something off about him. He began talking weirdly to me, asking me really personal questions. No red flags were going off in my head just yet. One day he surprised me and said he liked me and wanted to be my boyfriend. Of course, since I never really experienced having a boyfriend before, I said yes. I gave him my number and we started texting. His real name was Jack, and that was when the nightmares started. After 2 hours of texting, he wouldn't stop begging me to send a picture of myself. For my safety and also since my parents didn't want me to, I refused. He got all angry at me. A few hours later, when I was sleeping, he texted me saying, "I really don't think you love me." I didn't respond. The next morning, a Thursday morning, I was getting ready for school. I texted him my school schedule and told him when I would be free to text back. Then this happened. If I didn't text him exactly at the right time, he would have a fit about it and get extremely mad. One Friday night, I was home alone. I was watching a movie when he texted me. He said, "I really don't think you love me." I sighed and I texted back, "I do, Jack." "Prove it. It's freaking night," he replied, "and you didn't text me all day. I see you. You're just sitting on that couch watching that freaking movie." And he named the movie I was actually watching. My stomach dropped. How did he know? He texted me again before I responded. It said, "I know everything about you, Anastasia. This is why we are good together." I was terrified right then. I got up and locked all the doors and windows, making sure that no one could peep inside. Then I went back to the movie, but I couldn't get back into it or feel safe at all. Then it got worse. He got mad that I didn't send him any bear photos, if you know what I'm saying. He sent me a picture, and I couldn't tell what it was at first. It was a weird color and at a weird angle. And then finally I could make out what it was. It was a close-up of his nether regions. He said, "How do you like that? See what you're missing? Just open your door." Enough was enough. But again, I didn't have the chance to say anything before he texted back. "Call the police, I dare you. See what happens, Anastasia." Feeling fear for my life, I decided to just ignore my messages. A few days later, I was online with my friends and I told them everything about the creep. My friend actually said she knew about the guy, and he's nothing like he seems. He said he was a sick pervert and to stay away from him. And another friend even told me that he was going to do something awful to me if I kept talking to him. A few days later, this creep did the same thing over again. If I wouldn't text him when he wanted me to, he would get mad. And if I didn't tell him my address or any personal information about myself, he would get even more mad. It would be the same thing if I didn't send him inappropriate pictures. Then it got worse. He started making actual threats and actually wanted me to call the police on my own parents so we could be together forever. He then started sending me images that were just awful. He would talk so weird to me, like what he would say didn't make any sense. It was like talking to a preschooler. Coming from someone much older is chilling to say the least. He started sending me pictures of inappropriate things and toys. Finally, to just be rid of all of this, I told my parents about everything. And when I showed them my phone, and he had sent a brand new message saying, "I bet your blood tastes like chocolate," they lost it. They and myself gave this pervert a piece of our minds. Then he threatened to take his own life if I left him. He sent pictures of knives. He said he would find and end me if I didn't stay with him. This guy was insane. My parents reported this to the police, and we never heard anything from him again. But it still chills me that this creep is still out there, and he might just hook up with another unsuspecting girl. God, I hope he just stays far and away from anyone. Number 8. Creepy Guy on PlayStation. Submitted by Kira. This happened about a year ago or so, when I was only 12 years old. I was playing Black Ops 2 with a few online friends in a party. I'm pretty sure there were maybe 5 of us, and one of the guys was really creepy the minute he started talking. Being one of the only girls in the party, I got a lot of unwanted attention. I was casually talking and just having fun with everyone. I got tired pretty quickly though, and I told everyone I'd play tomorrow. Then I shut the game off. I went onto YouTube for some background noise and got ready for bed. But my video was interrupted by a message from one of the guys I was just playing with. I'm pretty sure the message said, "Hi," and that's it, and it didn't bother me too much. I ignored it and decided to respond in the morning because I wasn't up for a conversation, and I just wanted to go to bed. I continued my video, and about 5 minutes later I got another message. This one creeped me out a bit, but I didn't worry too much about it. I opened the message, and it read, "Don't ignore me, cutie, I want to talk to you." I unfriended him and fell asleep a short while later. I woke up at around 11:30 in the morning, and I decided to see if he had messaged me at all after the last one. In fact, I had 4 or 5 more messages while I had been sleeping, and they said the following. "Want to be my girlfriend, cutie? Can I be your boyfriend, please, please, please? I don't want to have to hurt you." I'm not sure what the others said, but I remember forgetting about it and just not responding to him the next day. He was simply just a creep. Around 2 in the morning I got bored and decided to play Black Ops again. with the same group of friends because all of them were still active. I already had long forgotten about that guy, and sure enough, he was in that group with his mic on. He had a voice changer or something on it, and it was on the lowest setting, so his voice was really deep and really unsettling. The first thing he said to me was, "Oh, it's you. Why are you ignoring me? Why did you unfriend me? You know I just love you." I left the group right away and I felt like just going to bed. Again, I put on YouTube and I began to watch a Shane Dawson video. He was being his loud, obnoxious self, and my video got interrupted yet again by another message from the creep. He was getting more aggressive, and it was freaking me out, so I told my brother about it. Let me be honest with you, it was starting to scare me. It was one of the first times I'd ever met someone so obsessive and aggressive. After my brother gave him a piece of his mind, that made the creeper guy extremely mad. He began threatening me and my brother. He said he'd track me down. He said I needed to give him my number or he would hack my account, which didn't bother me much at all. So I blocked him, and I haven't heard from him again. It just goes to show you that there are people out there in the world that don't have any social skills, and if they don't get what they want, they'll legitimately try to hurt you to get it. If you meet one of these people, stay away before they find you in person. Number 9. He is watching. Submitted by Kai. I was 17 and playing Call of Duty online with some friends, but something wasn't right this time. A strange guy named Dave joined the party really late. We were all just talking before beginning the match, but Dave came on crying that someone was trying to hurt him and his family. Then we all heard a lot of commotion on the other side. All of us were worried and couldn't even focus on the game. I asked Dave what was going on, and someone came over the microphone with a very low voice. They said that Dave wasn't alive anymore and told us to mind our own business. Then the mic clicked off. This had me freaked out so bad, I had to run and check my own doors to make sure they were locked. After I got back on the game, one of the other guys in the group told me that Dave's account went offline and then suddenly came back online, and now whoever was on that account was asking him for his information, like how old he was, where he went to school, and what his address was. The scary thing about this is that person went to school with Dave, so Dave already had this information. That wasn't Dave on his profile. The last I heard, no one had heard from Dave after that, and no one saw him at school either. I don't know what happened to him, but I do know those people are still out there. People who are looking for new victims. And number 10. MMORPG Hacker. Submitted by Bentley. I'm 17 years old, and I love video games. MMORPGs to be more specific. There's this one game, AQ3D, or Adventure Quest 3D, that I've been playing ever since the tech demo was released nearly 2 years ago. If you know anything about the creators of this game, Artix Entertainment, then you know that they've made plenty of other games, such as the original Adventure Quest, Quest Worlds, Dragon Fable, Oversoul, etc. Well, before I started playing AQ3D, I started playing AQW, or Quest Worlds, and I joined a guild called Sophos. We didn't originally start out with that name, but eventually, after name hopping a few times, we decided on that one, and it just sort of stuck. After I practically tore the whole guild apart because I was going through some emotional problems at the time that made me very angry, plus me and the guild leader's girlfriend had some beef, I stopped playing, and I moved on to the next best thing, the aforementioned AQ3D. Eventually, I mellowed out. I started talking to the guild leader again, and we made up. So me, him, and my boyfriend at the time got together and decided to rebuild Sophos in AQ3D, and made a Discord server to run the guild out of, because they didn't have a guild system in the game just yet. So about a year or two had gone by, and the guild had gotten much bigger than us initial creators. I use the term loosely because, technically, my boyfriend at the time and I didn't create the guild, but we helped make it stable enough for more members to join. Soon, there was a major shift in power. My ex had been kicked out of the guild for starting stuff, especially in the middle of the main guild chat instead of keeping it private. I was demoted to just being a regular guild member, and our leader was no longer our leader anymore. His friend had taken over the place and became the new face for our guild, while the old leader runs the guild from the shadows, through us few that he trusts most, and yes, I was one of those people. There was a point in time where I just sort of gave up on the guild and the game. The game got boring, and since I'm in a different part of the world than everyone else in the guild, I was rarely on when the others were. But over the summer, my activities started to pick back up, mainly because I was told that if I didn't get active soon, then I would be kicked out of the guild altogether, but also because the game had undergone some major updates and began to look playable again. Little did I know at the time that playing again and getting involved with other players would get me into some deep trouble. I mean, nothing ever really happened, but I learned fast not to screw around with people that know how to hack your stuff and get your information. During that summer, I got pretty bad. Not in the misbehaving or getting into fights kind of bad, but more of a, I'm gonna do some illegal stuff that could get somebody thrown in prison for seeing it. You know, pictures kinds of things. Again, I was 17 at the time. I had these images floating around through DMs of people in both mine and other people's guilds, so it was only a matter of time before somebody got a hold of those specific things. If you still haven't caught on to what I'm talking about, you might be too young to know what it is. Anyway, I kept exchanging my things for other people's things. An image exchange, basically. By then, I was in too deep to stop. My former guild leader had instructed me to do this with other people in our guild, so that I could blackmail them in case anybody in our guild decided to turn around and destroy us, like I'd once done. But there was this one person. I'd never met him in-game, but our former leader knew him from playing AQW. For privacy reasons, I'm gonna call him Iffy. Our former leader had put himself, me, Iffy, and 4 other people into a group on Discord that was titled Troll Squad. The group was initially created before I had anything to do with it, but I was still dumped in it out of the blue. Then the former leader demanded that I release one of the images I'd obtained from a former guild member that the new guild leader wasn't very happy about. I posted it into the group chat, then I closed out of Discord so that I could go back to play AQ3D, and started trying to reach the level cap again with some friends. Not even 15 minutes later, I opened Discord again to see more messages in the group chat. I went back to go read some of it, and Iffy had said, right before I got on, "I want to do something," he said. "Should I DM Blue's things to her parents and her friends?" Blue was my username. At that very second, my heart started to speed up. Before I could reply, my guild leader replied back and said, "How would you even do that? You don't know her in real life. You don't know her name, let alone her parents' friends' Facebook." And in only seconds' time, Iffy replies with all of my information. Info he couldn't possibly know, such as my real name, my mother's name and maiden name, what country I'm in, what city I'm in, and my address and IP address. How in the world did he get all of that, and why would he post it for everyone to see? At this point, I was freaking out. I was about to have a mental breakdown. I was ready to delete everything that I had. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Discord, any online games that I played, my Xbox Live account, everything that I could think of. I wanted to erase my whole online life. But then suddenly he deleted everything that he had posted and left this reply. "I wouldn't do that to you, Blue. I'm feeling good today, so you're off the hook. But maybe I'll come see you again sometime soon." What did he mean by that? When had he seen me? Overall, I felt relief that I had dodged that situation. It was the scariest moment of my life, and it was over, I think. At least for that moment, I was safe. But with his last thought, whenever I was in public, I felt watched for the next few months. I'd never seen him before, so I didn't even know who to look out for. But he knew everything about me, and I have no idea how. Gaming online can be dangerous, and you're never as safe as you think you are. Games might give you the ability to do what you want without any real consequences, except taking up a lot of your time and health. But if you're not careful when you're online, the worst kinds of people and predators can find you. So watch yourself, or you could be living the next survival horror game, and you won't be winning it. Good night. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And don't forget to send me your scary stories from Russia at darknessprevails.org/submit, or download my app at darknessprevails.org/app. It's called Spooked, and it'll let you read thousands of my stories, watch my entire video archive of hundreds of videos, and submit your stories anytime and anywhere. Or support me on Patreon at patreon.com/darknessprevails with just $1 a month. The sooner I don't have to rely on YouTube for my livelihood, the sooner I can get back to making unrestricted, uncensored content. Until then, enjoy this video of me trying some candy from @LimboTheLost, a fan on Twitter. It's a bunch of Swedish candy, and I'm sure you'll like my reactions. I'll be doing the top 5 comments of this video on the next one. Thank you. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another bad unboxing. I'm a skinny nerd who uses shock value to get views. I got a package from a fan today. She's from Sweden, @LimboTheLost on Twitter. She drew my user icon profile picture thingy. But as you can see, the package says Post Nord. Why you gotta call me a nerd like that? Okay, so this thing is like 4 kilos. I don't know how heavy that is because I don't do drugs. And we're gonna bust right into this baby using my keys. Oh, it's ripping. You know, I'm a dude, and from what I've seen, as long as we get what's inside, the box can just go to hell. Yeah, we're just gonna rip this baby up. Oh, yeah. Let's get in there. Get in there. Money shot. Whoa. A lot of stuff in there. Lots of goodies. I don't deserve it. Oh! Those are goodies for the floor now. Sugar, come eat these. I guess I should just randomly pick and try one of these things. A lot of chocolate. I love chocolate. The diabetes is strong with this one. Last time I made a diabetes joke, someone got mad. That's okay. I'm gonna be me. Oh, okay. Drom Crisp. We're gonna try this one. It looks delicious. Marabou. Cocoa Life. That's me. That's just a good way to enunciate my life. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's creamy, with a little bit of crisp to it. I have no idea what's in this, because I speak English. Drom Crisp? What is that? If anyone knows, I'm totally up for it, but I'm already blown away. Thank you, this is delicious. My mouth is watering like a waterfall right now. But, moving on, we're gonna try this bag of candy. If he's having a good time, I'm probably gonna have a great time too. So, I'm ready to come. Try not to drool on my candy. Little sugar-coated bunny drops. Ah, if it tastes good, I don't care where it came from. Oh! I don't know what that is. It is not sweet. That is not sugar. It might be an actual bunny drop. Man, when you're eating things and you can't read the language, you might just get yourself hurt. Whoa. Okay, that's like, we're gonna go back in. Oh. No. This, I can't do that one. It's bitter and almost vinegary, like a bad peanut. I don't like that one. Jungiral. No. Okay, so now we've got candy from both sides of the spectrum. Delicious, and I would bathe myself in it to please kill me now. Alright. Now that I know that this is a hit or miss, and I could get hurt, I'm feeling the danger. I'm feeling the anxiety. Oh my god. Oh, this one. This one at least warns you of the danger. It's got a few little fire symbols on this side. Yeah, it's gonna be hot. But I'll try it. I'll do anything once. Oh no, the crumbly. It looks like a prehistoric beetle shell. I'm scared because I don't know if it's supposed to be sweet or salty. Oh my god. Okay. It's not bad. I'm scared. Oh. Is that spice? Oh, the back says in English, too hot to handle. Oh yeah? It's really, it's not very sweet. Pretty, kind of bitter. It's not spicy at all. Not like I expected. I'm gonna keep sucking. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna keep sucking on this. No. Is that all you got? I can handle this. Turkish pepper. I don't know. I am slaughtering the language. For any Japanese out there, konnichiwa. Oh, these look exciting. What am I gonna eat next? I like this one. We'll finish it off with this one so you guys can get back to your lives. This one's called Damn! I'm ready to be exploded with flavor by this thing. This one looks sweet. I don't think I have to worry too much about whatever that monkey one was. I just want to forget that ever happened. It makes me miss my uncle who told me to be quiet about the stuff we did in the back room. Yeah, it's that bad. Anyway. I'm gonna take this one out. I'm more of a sweetie kind of guy, so I can't handle those wannabe spicy ones for too long. Okay, this one's completely flat. It's kind of like a flattened Milky Way. Looks like it might have some toffee in there, or some really crispy or just really thick caramel. Get that smell. A really good chocolatey flavor. That is delicious. That tastes like... What is that? Score? Is that the thing covered, the toffee covered, the chocolate covered toffee? That is good. That is good. Oh yeah. Thank you so much at Limbo the Lost. You guys, if you want some incredible drawings from a really sweet person who sends me lots of sweeties and one very terrible monkey drop, follow her at Limbo the Lost. And thank you so much, all of you guys out there who want to send me things and completely fatten me up. I really appreciate that. As always, stay safe out there and stay creepy.